So Grace here, and today we wanted to talk about fear.
Yes, here's a ray of sunshine, bringing some sunshine into your lives.
So there's a lot of fear going around.
Yeah.
I've only spent a few minutes on social media this morning, and it's just crazy stuff. People are fearful. They're having to stay home. They're maybe forced lockdowns. A lot of other theories about what's really happening, and people are scared about getting the coronavirus, scared about being stuck at home with people they might not be used to spending that much time at home with, or might be scared. I mean, there's lots of things people can be scared of right now, and this situation, this dynamic that we're having in the world just triggers a lot of fears. So I just wanted to talk about fears today, and I know you have a very unique perspective on fears, so let's talk about it. Where do fears come from?
Yes, fear, what people generally perceive as the benefits of fear are actually coming from their natural protective instinct, which, if people think about it, it originates below the neck.
And you're thinking about the human design chart? Is that what you're referring to? Talk about the thinking mind up here, we think about the other chakras below the neck.
Yes, that, but also even in a physical perspective, when people feel things, it's from the neck down. People feel things, generally speaking, like I said, sometimes they feel it in the chest, maybe a tightness in the chest, or butterflies in the stomach, or just like anxiety. It's down here when people feel it, not just in human design, but in the physical reality of physical world. People feel things down here. And when we think about, and there's the word right there, when we think about, we're thinking, we're using our thinking mind, and that's where the fear that is debilitating for people originates. It is in the thinking mind. They're thinking about it. They're trying to figure things out with their thinking mind.
That's what we've been taught to do, right?
Yes, we've been taught to do that through the conditioning and programming that we received growing up. Some of which is beneficial, but a lot of it is disempowering. Conditioning and programming, which is our operating system. So that's where the fear that a lot of people are experiencing right now, it's originating, is in their thinking mind, above the neck.
So maybe an exercise for you right now, if you're fearful, is to close your eyes and just tune in to your body and say, where am I feeling fear right now? Or what am I experiencing in my body? And is it something I'm worried about up here? Or is it something I literally feel in my gut? I think that would be one way to tune in, wouldn't it?
Yes, it's a very good way to tune in, is to go inside. Instead of looking outside, like social media, the news. People are constantly looking outside themselves. Look inside. That's why, that's why when I go on social media, I do it from the perspective of sharing what my perspective, as opposed to looking for other people's, not other people's, but what it's a common meme or idea or consciousness that's out there that people are so afraid, and they're just saying, what's happening, the coronavirus, we need to have social distancing, all these things.
I think people are looking for a way to understand it and a way to deal with it, and people are talking about it, so they want different perspectives, right?
And they're looking externally.
And they're looking outside themselves, and I think what you're saying is look within.
Look inside, exactly.
And that's a very unusual perspective, and why would they do that? What could they hope to find?
That's where our true natural protective instinct is, things that we really should be looking at to protect ourselves. And that all is below the neck. All of that's below the neck instead of above the neck in the thinking mind, which is where most people live. That's where they are. They try to figure things out, and they look externally. They look for external stimulus, and they're going to get what's the common consciousness is out there, which is fear. Here comes the virus. We need to have social distancing and stay at home. So the government's trying to, well, they're from their what they're sharing with the public is we're trying to protect you. We want to protect you. We want to make sure this doesn't get out of hand, and we have all kinds of deaths everywhere. But the reality is, if people look at the facts of the situation instead of the emotions around the situation, which in this case is fear of getting this quote unquote virus and dying. The facts of it is that this is just like a flu bug. It's no more or less dangerous than a flu bug. And we have natural immunity when our immune system is strong. That's what, if people want to do something and strengthen their immune system, natural immunity, because that's what protects us, instead of social distancing and things of that nature, which is proceeding from fear.
And that's again looking outside ourselves rather
Yes,
than looking at the source, and the cure is within. So I know when I healed myself of cancer, that's what I focused on, was rebuilding my digestive system to strengthen my immune system, and then all the things to strengthen my internal defenses, because they were down. That's how I got cancer in the first place. And so I understand what you're saying from that perspective. It's a different way of looking at it. A lot of people want to take it from a different, and there's lots of ways to deal with it. But I think what I hear you saying is look within. That's where the answers are. Yes. And in this case too, with the fear, if you actually go inside instead of looking out, you're not going to be affected as much by the fear. You're not going to be. You're choosing something different. If you open yourself up to all the fear around, that's what you're going to get. A lot of fear.
Yes, what you focus on is what you attract. So if you're fearful of something, you're probably going to attract what you're fearing. But if you focus on the fact that we are protected and we have what we need within us, then that's the reality that we create. And when people think about catching a cold or catching something from someone, that's a misconception. We don't really, we can pass things along, sure, but if our immune system is strong, it's going to fight it off. And when we come down with something, instead of looking to blame, oh, you gave me your cold or whatever you had, no, it's that your immune system went down, and these bugs, these bacteria and viruses and such, they're opportunistic in nature. And so when there's an opportunity, your immune system goes down, they're going to flourish, and then you're going to get sick.
And I think we've all heard that stress decreases our defenses naturally. So,
and when people are fearful, guess what?
Stress goes up, immune system goes down.
Exactly. So when people take the opposite perspective, instead of being fearful and just being in acceptance of what their situation is and enjoying it and appreciating, like, oh, now we got time to be at home, spend time with each other, and do things that we normally wouldn't have time to do because we're so busy with our lives and going out to work. Now we're at home, we get to, we can go within, and we can also appreciate the other. That if we live by ourselves, we have pets, whatever, we appreciate the time with them, or appreciate the time with ourselves, or with our significant other, whatever the person's situation happens to be. But just be in acceptance of it and appreciate it.
So you said before that your thoughts really matter. Can you talk a little bit more about why that's important, that we're conscious of the thoughts that we think and how that can affect whether or not we get sick?
So the thoughts, when people are operating from the old conditioning and programming, which is disempowering, they're giving away their power. And that's what disempowering means. Disempowering, you're giving away your power. You're not keeping it within yourself. So that is what we received growing up. In order to change that, we need to create new conditioning and programming. And that's where the thoughts really are important when we proceed from conscious awareness. Think about what we're doing. Monitor the thoughts, words, and actions, which derive from, well, that's what we determine. We're going to determine where it derives from. And as we're proceeding from conscious awareness, being aware of what we're thinking, of what we're saying, and of what we're doing, when we're aware instead of just operating on automatic, which is what most people do. You know, they've done these things, you know, wash the dishes, drive to work, take a shower, all these things that we just do and take for granted. We don't even think about it. We're not present. We're actually somewhere else. Instead of we're either in the past thinking about some wrong that was done to us, or in the future anxious about something that we feel might come, like the coronavirus.
And that takes us out of our power because it takes us out of the present moment, which is where that power is, power of now.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's the present moment. That's all we have control of, is right here, right now.
Right.
Right here, right now. So does that answer the question?
I think so.
About focusing, you know, how our thoughts are important.
Yeah, so our thoughts create our reality.
Yes.
And our words create our reality.
Yes.
So it's important to proceed from conscious awareness.
Yes.
And monitor so that we can actively change the thoughts that we have as we start to, oh, wait, where is that? It's coming from fear. I choose for that to come from love and trust. I choose to come from love and trust, and making that conscious choice. Then now I can change my words, I can change my thoughts, and I'm going to have a different reality, right?
And you're creating new programming and conditioning that you're choosing that's empowering, to replace the old that was disempowering.
So I think that's it. Maybe one last question could be, for those people who, what if they're going to see somebody, maybe they go out, go to the store, or they're concerned that they might catch the virus. What advice would you give to them about what they should or shouldn't do, or what they could or couldn't do that might help them manage that situation, manage their thoughts, manage their fear? I mean, for people who are in that situation, and I imagine there are people that are going to go out and make one last shopping trip before they get stuck at home for a long time or whatever, they might be in fear that they're going to catch something and, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So what advice would you have for them?
Let go of the fear and come into love and trust.
What does that mean? That sounds so simple.
When you're in love and trust, what does the word trust mean? Well, so trust in the situation is about trusting in yourself and whatever your belief system is, you know, your higher power, angels, your higher self, God, universe, consciousness, whatever it is that you believe, is a higher power, and we're being looked out for, because that's what we do. I mean, that higher power, from my perspective, my higher self, is me. That is me. That is the true me, and the true you, and the true everyone is their spiritual being, their higher self. And so this is just a physical representation within this reality. And when we understand that we're being looked out for and protected, we go forth in faith, in trust, and in love, instead of the fear, which is then we start attracting things that come from fear. And that's when that's when we get stressed around that fear, which lowers our immune system. And the immune system is what protects us. So we want to keep the immune system strong. So that way we can go out without fear, not worrying about it, just go about our normal business and the way we approach. Like, as an example for myself, you know, I'll go to a store. I'll make contact. I'll hug people. I'm a hugger. I love hugging people. And I'm very affectionate. So that isn't going to change, because I'm not afraid. And since I'm not afraid, what my past experience has been, once I came into acceptance of that, has been that I have attracted the things that I really want. Which prior, when I was coming from fear, I attracted things that I didn't want. And
So focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
Exactly. Does that answer the question?
I think so. So I think the bottom line summary version is: be conscious of your thoughts, be conscious of your words, be conscious of your actions. And when they are not in alignment with love and trust, if you find yourself feeling fear anywhere, even from the thinking mind or from the neck down, tune into it and be conscious of it. Hey, what is this I'm feeling? And then choose a different feeling or different words, and choose to be in love and trust. I mean, and I think it can be that simple, can it?
Yep.
Just make a different choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing to avoid, I'm not
Which
going
is
to
a
be in fear.
continual process.
Right, it's an ongoing thing.
Yes.
It's just so minute by minute, you might have to make, might have to make a different choice. I feel fear, pick it up, a deep breath, okay, choose love and trust, love and trust. I'm gonna proceed from love and trust. I know that I'm protected, I know that this is gonna be fine, and I know that worrying is not gonna help me, and I know that stress is only gonna lower my immune system, so therefore I make a different choice. I choose to come from love and trust, I choose to be at peace, I choose to go inside rather than looking out and absorbing all this fear around me. And in that way, I choose a different reality. And now I'm creating a new reality around me, which is peace and love and joy. And, you know, my mom used to say, quote a Bible verse that says, perfect love casts out all fear. So when we choose love, the two, love and fear can't coexist at the same time. So I believe, and it's been my experience, that when I focus on love, there's no room for the fear. It has to go away.
Exactly. I concur.
Okay, any final words?
Just go out and love yourself, love your others, and enjoy life. That's what I choose. Everything's a choice. Nothing happens by accident. We choose it, whether it's a conscious choice or an unconscious choice. It's still a choice. We're still choosing it by our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We're making those choices.
Might as well be intentional.
Yes, be intentional in what you choose. And that's it.
Okay.